Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone. Hi, hello. Welcome to another very exciting episode of Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. We're back from our relaxing Hawaii trip, which we will talk about. I'm sitting in the studio in Burbank, California, with none other than your husband and mine, America's husband, Daniel QUINCE. Hello.
Hello.
How is it going?
It's going well. QUINCE.
We just recorded the news with Alison and Daniel, our Patreon bonus episode. And hang on.
Patreon.com/Alison Rosen.
Our Patreon bonus episode, I found a list that I had written when I was in high school, and we revisited the list, and oh, what fun.
It was a real deep insight into the type of person you were and the type of person you still are.
Was it really?
Only in that it was like you could have written it yesterday, except for a few things.
I don't think it was totally like I could have written it yesterday.
I mean, you're a better writer.
Yeah.
But, the voice, same voice.
Can I tell you something crazy? Okay. And also, I made some notes of things I want to talk about from our trip. But, okay, so I don't talk about it that often. But my grandfather was a very famous psychiatrist his star rose and then fell. He was famous for a time because he claimed he could cure schizophrenia. Like today, no one thinks you can actually cure it, but he's like, I can reach schizophrenics. I can cure them.
And he would do these outlandish demonstrations.
Yeah, he would go to clinics or to schools or whatever, and he'd be like, bring out your hardest case, like the person who's been institutionalized for years, and then he would like treat them in front. I feel like there's probably recordings of this somewhere, like in front of everyone. He would like bring them out of their psychosis. Supposedly, this is what I grew up hearing, that he was like a miracle worker with schizophrenics. And then my dad claimed that he had a patient who cracked up. That was their wording. And he even did this with this. But
Was it your dad had done that?
My dad did it once with someone, and like it worked,
like he
supposedly.
learned the technique?
Yeah, the family trade. So I grew up, believing that he actually did this, but it doesn't really hold water. It doesn't really make sense. Like my therapist kind of laughed at this notion that this is possible even. But my aunt, who I am in touch with, and she hated everyone in the family hates my hated my grandfather.
Yeah,
I'll go
into
he was horrible.
Yeah.
He lost his license. But she was like, oh, he had a real talent for therapy. Because I don't know. So anyway, and I've said before, there's this book that was written about him, Savage Sleep, and he wrote books, textbooks. Anyway. So for a time, these he would treat like celebrities and politicians, like the highest of high society.
Very famous clients.
He did, because they would they were desperate if they had a child who was schizophrenic, and they'd be like, we got to get him into Rosen's care. So, my dad went, the whole family visited Anna Freud. He won psychiatrist, his star rose. And this has always been the part that I don't really know exactly what happened, and it's very, very upsetting, but for a number of things happened, and he ended up losing his license. He also, I think, went to jail for tax evasion or something, or tax fraud, or he was a bad dude. He was a cult leader bad dude. Incredibly charismatic, but a very abusive husband, and an abusive parent, and abusive to his patients.
Yeah, very.
But also that abuse was part of his treatment of them, and he would he had this entourage, and a lot of the people who worked for him had been former patients. and or like these new like students of psychiatry, and very unconventional, the stuff he did. But so anyway, there had always been this real darkness over it, because there's chapters in these books. Like there's a book called Against Therapy, which has a chapter, or like there's all these books from people who are against therapy and feel like it's like an exploitative process.
I wonder if the Scientologists use him as an example, because they hate therapy.
I feel like I would have heard from Scientologists by now, if so. So my freshman year of college, a friend of mine, one of my college friends who I recently reconnected with, was like, in class we learned about the evil Dr. Rosen who taught in this location, and I'm like, he's like, is that your dad? Jokingly, and I said, no, that's my grandfather though.
Well, who said that to you?
A friend of mine, my sponsor in my sponsor group, you know. And I actually, this part makes me cringe. I actually went during office hours to the professor and said that like the woman that case is about like was a disgruntled patient.
Oh, so you're still defensive?
Yeah, I was defensive. Like what an idiot I was. And
What did she say? How did she respond to you?
I don't know what she said, but apparently she like talked to the class and was like, you know, a relative of so-and-so like came and talked to me, and like there's a lot of different opinions, but I don't know. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed by that I was so defensive. Like I didn't know shit.
Yeah, because you didn't know.
So I always like I was like, I think I read that like he shit in someone's mouth or like something crazy. Like something like it's so disgusting and dark. Like I don't know that I believe that. That specific thing. But finally, like via newspapers.com or something, I pulled up and it was basically like, it was like, you know, sex doc it loses his license. And it was all like, it was a lot of sexual stuff. But I don't think it, for some reason, just finding out that it was like a whole bunch of just he was sleeping with everyone was less upsetting to me than like sadistic weird shit. Yeah. I'm not sure it wasn't sadistic weird shit, but I think
there's no reporting on that if it were true.
I don't know. I think mostly it was just that there was like a lot of sleeping with patients.
Very inappropriate
boundary crossing shit. But like I'm trying to think if I can tell this.
What if the only cure for schizophrenia is to shit in their mouth though? Would we as a society be okay with that?
I mean, it's because he believed he was not the only one. Back then, they believed that what caused schizophrenia, I know I said that twice, what caused schizophrenia was a cold, withdrawn, they called them refrigerator mothers.
Like if you had one, then you would become schizophrenic.
Yeah.
That was the thinking.
Yeah. Or it was the mother's fault, the refrigerator mother, and that the defense against the reality that your mother didn't love you was to live in this extended dream state. And that it was like you were trying to get milk from the stony breast. And so I don't know.
Is this all? Is that all a coming from like a
super Freudian based stuff? I don't know. So, but one of the dark things in the background of all of this always is that one of his patients died under his care. And I had heard she drowned in the pool or something. But then later I heard that a couple attendants had like beat her to death. And I always knew this. This was in the early 80s. So periodically I decide to do a deep dive on all of this. And the daughter of the patient who was killed is a journalist.
Okay.
And she wrote a piece about it. About like
when?
In 2005.
Okay.
It happened in 1983. She wrote a piece in 2005 about it. So her mother, she didn't know her mother very well. And she has been haunted by what happened to her mother, and also who her mother was.
Sure.
And she was like doing a Nexus search for some article, and she typed in my grandfather's name, or no, she typed in her mother's name, and this stuff came up. And then she ultimately she was trying to figure out what happened, and she ultimately,
so she didn't even know that any of that until
she
did the
had
Nexus
heard
search?
she had heard that her mother drowned in a pool.
Okay.
And it never made sense to her because her mother,
But she hadn't heard the other story about that.
Correct. The one thing she knew about her mother was that her mother was a strong swimmer.
Right. Okay.
And the piece is very good. It's and she was convinced. She couldn't really look into it until she outlived her mother, because she was convinced that she was going to drown or that she was going to go crazy. And so she ended up interviewing the two people who had beat her mother to death. One of them, and one was a 21-year-old female
At the time.
nurse, and the other one was a 31-year-old, and they were still it wasn't Rosen's fault because he was away, he wasn't there during the time. I'm not saying that to defend my grandfather. I'm saying that was the cult of him, that they were still trying to defend him.
What was their story about what happened?
They were trying to get her to speak. She hadn't talked to them for a year. She was a very troubled woman. She had been in and out of institutions. She was at this point, she was at this other facility, and she was catatonic and was soiling herself and wouldn't speak. And this is
she wouldn't speak, but why would they?
They were trying to get her to speak about her mother.
So they beat her?
So one was holding her legs and the other was beating her in the chest. And then they repeatedly, it's so awful. They threw her into the pool.
Well, they said it wasn't your grandfather's fault, but was that protocol for something like that?
I mean, they had to have learned it. They had to have learned it from him. I don't think that he was having prostate surgery out of state.
They wouldn't do that.
They were doing what they had seen him do. I'm sure.
Ugh.
It's really upsetting. They were doing what they, but she read the court documents and stuff, and the woman was saying to the man that you're trying to get him to stop, it was too much.
Okay.
It's really it's awful. It's awful. But anyway, I have been debating reaching out to her for years now.
And why?
I don't know.
Well, you got to answer that before you reach out to her, I think.
I think because I'm curious what she knows. I wonder, I think it might be interesting for her to know that I always knew about what happened to her mother. I don't really know what happened, but her mother, it wasn't just a nothing. It was something that I grew up in the shadow of this too. I don't know. I guess I feel she's a parallel of me. We both, this darkness happened, and we both have been contending with it our whole lives. And I also want, if I'm in front of LexisNexis, I want to search this stuff too. And I just feel that I've had a similar path to her with regards to this stuff. I also, because she knew, sort of knew some for a while, but then couldn't really go further with it. And I don't know. But I also, I remember telling a therapist early on, I want to say I'm sorry. And they're like, do you think you're responsible for any of this?
Right. What?
And I'm like, no, but I can't believe I'm related to that monster.
I mean,
I don't know.
But I don't know.
Well, you think I shouldn't reach out to her?
Oh, I mean, reach out to her if you want. I don't see the harm in it.
I actually think she might be a fascinating podcast guest down the road.
I don't know. This whole idea of inherited sin, I don't really buy into it. Because I looked into my genealogy, and my great grandfather was Hitler. I mean, should I feel bad about that?
I just, again, it's weird when new information comes out this far into our marriage.
But not Adolf Hitler.
Oh, which one?
It was Greg Hitler. No, I had relatives who fought for the South in the Civil War. That's pretty terrible. I had that part of the family worked in textiles. You know, they would run the factories that would buy the cotton from the plantations, and they didn't own slaves, but they certainly profited from it. And that's
How do you
pretty
know
terrible.
they didn't own slaves? How do you know?
Well, there's no record or of it. It's possible they did.
Okay, look.
But like I'm disgusted by that. But at the same time, that's the family that disinherited my grandfather and had nothing to do with us. And I don't know, like, at what point am I like connected to that? Like, that
is like prosaic, run of the mill shit that half the country deals with. I have a special and unique
yours
crime.
is very interesting, but I don't think it's that different in that, like,
You mean in terms of your connection to that and my
you're not
connection
guilty
to this?
for the sins of your father.
My
I just don't
grandfather.
believe that. Or even your father. I'm just saying, like, even one generation, you're not guilty for their sins.
You're not responsible for someone else.
But you had nothing
period.
to do with it. And also, like, your grandfather abused your dad, and that abuse had a negative domino effect that fucked you up. So if anything, you have paid any kind of karmic debt for whatever he did through the dysfunction in your family. I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
I also feel like this is something to talk about.
The only problem would be is if you were like lionizing him and making hagiographies of your grandfather.
Ew.
That would make you culpable, I guess.
Yeah. No. And then I also think, like, no one take this idea. This would, like, that's the story of him would be a really good podcast. But I don't think it's an important enough story. And done by me, that would be very interesting because I am obviously much closer to it. But I don't think I'd want to stew in that darkness when it does. Like, so the article I'm talking about, written by this woman that I feel like I've repeatedly thought I want to get in touch with her, like, when I'm ready. Her fiance in the article is like, this is like, I think you need to tell. This is the story you need to tell that you've been avoiding, or that you need to confront that you've been avoiding, which is like the story of what happened to her mother, because it was this big mystery for her. And she went and she like interviewed people who knew her mother, and because she really didn't know what was the deal with her mother. And then she ultimately finds out that her mother had said to her father who raised her, it's her or me, like, you give up the baby for adoption or I'm going to leave. Like, that's how much she was having trouble bonding with the baby, and like felt like it's awful. It's a very dark story. So, and then I think, like, is this my version of that? Is this story the thing that I need to confront that I've been avoiding? But I don't think so, because it's not my mother, it's my grandfather. And I was not, I don't know. I don't think it is.
But what's the piece that you don't know about your grandfather? Because, like,
did
for
he
her,
shit in someone's mouth?
I mean, that's not as compelling. Like for her, it's like she didn't even know what happened to her mom.
Yeah,
that
I know.
Seems like
it's not,
and it's her mom,
right?
Whereas I think mostly, like, there's like little
there's
details
connective
you don't
tissue
know.
I don't know, but I don't really. But because my dad is gone now, I have more freedom that I could do it. I just think it is cinematic, and I think it would be, if done right, I think it would be a popular, almost true crime podcast. But is that where I want to put myself?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's very, what's the word? It's
Dark?
tantalizing.
Yes.
It's got sort of sensational elements to it and like whatever. So you're like, wow, maybe I should do something with it because it's part of your family history. And
Right.
It's so weird, but I don't know if it's on brand for you to do like a journalistic.
Can't you imagine it though? Like The Bad Doctor.
I
On
don't know.
iHeartMedia.
Honestly, like I feel like the podcast market is saturated with stuff like that. Not to say that this couldn't somehow like.
Maybe I'll make it a children's book.
I don't know.
That was a joke.
No, I'm trying to take it seriously. Like I am fascinated by it. It is fascinating. I just don't know what the angle is that makes it like, oh shit, you got to do that. Like, I don't know.
Just that it's like it's a compelling story that is in my lap.
But
do I want to? I think it would be interesting. And told by the relative of, so contending with what it means to be related to like someone monstrous.
Well, see now, if you broadened it out and you said like, okay, I'm going to start with this as a framing device. So I'm like, this is my story of my family. Here's my grandfather and here's the things that he did and so on and so on.
Right.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to
Greg
the
Hitler.
relatives of infamous people. So I'm going to talk to the daughter of John Wayne Gacy.
I feel like it's more a narrative. I feel like it's, it's like Dirty John or something. Or Serial.
I don't know that it is, but
anyway, no, it's not my brand at all. But I am a journalist. I mean, it could be my brand, but it's not really my brand presently. My brand right now is like Snapchat.
I just don't think that it's going to be the kind of thing that lights you up.
No, it'll bum me out.
So like, yeah, sure, you could spend all your energy on this, and in the end, I don't think your heart would be in it. I think that you are someone who lights up at different kinds of subjects and different kinds of
like silliness.
Yeah, and I just think like you need to focus your time and effort on things that like bring you joy and make you excited to work on it. Now maybe this is that, but I don't get
I
the
see
sense
what you're
that it
saying.
is.
I see what you're saying. You know what else I was thinking about? This is while we were in Hawaii. I know right where I was when I had this thought. I was on the toilet. This woman that I follow is very big in dog rescue, but also like the sort of the psychology of it and how hard it can be on people who work in dog rescue. And she did this not cryptic, but it was just like, it was a little bit like gossipy. This post about us, like don't let the people in dog rescue who are super judgmental, like, has this happened to you? It was very specific, like, essentially like you're fostering a dog and you need to go on vacation, so you try to find someone who can watch the dog while you're gone, and then it's like they all sort of ice you out because you realize that they were expecting you to adopt the dog. They had set you up. They never told you what their expectations were. It just made me go like, oh, this is like some subculture tea here. But I was thinking about the evil that is done by do-gooders and how that is a topic that's interesting to me. I might write a Substack about it. Like this virtuous, because we talk about it. Like, you said before, like, look, if you believe that abortion is murder,
if you think they are murdering babies,
then nothing's off the table. Like, yes, putting an end to the doctor, like stopping the doctor who's doing this, like
murdering babies. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally justified. I actually think that this is a very, very interesting and very topical.
No one steal this.
Well, because it's like, I think it is almost the defining issue of our time, which is maybe of all times, but like is really right now, which is, the
misguided do-gooderism, righteous evil,
how easily a person can be persuaded that they are doing good and end up doing bad, and how hard it is oftentimes to know good from bad.
Right.
Like, because we are all, it's like we're all swimming in a sea of disinformation, you know, and it's like we all think that we know what we're following is not the disinformation, but it's like if you imagine information right now, it's like it used to be like a blanket, like a straight flat plane with minor like waves, and now it's like a turbulent ocean. And
Yeah.
it's like well, from my perspective, I feel like I'm righteous, right? But I support X, Y, and Z. But from their perspective, X, Y, and Z are the greatest evil because they believe this other set of information. And sure, if you believe that, then X, Y, and Z are evil.
Yeah.
And I then am evil.
Right.
But I just don't believe. And so, like, what do you do? And how do you judge a person anymore? Because, like, even from our perspective, you could look at people who voted for Trump and it's like, oh, these people, like, how could you? But it's like, but if you believed what they believe, then, then what?
Well, it almost makes you wonder: is evil ever done? But it is. But is evil ever done for other reasons? Like, is there anyone who's just like,
well,
I'm evil and I like to hurt and kill people, so I'm going to set out to do that. That's what serial killers do, I think.
So, yeah.
But organized evil is usually done by people who believe they're the virtuous ones. It almost, this notion of evil done under the cloak of virtue is so broad that I almost think every movement in history that we would consider bad falls under it. Like, I need to narrow it more.
I would maybe suggest that, like, when you're talking about a population at large doing evil, that they largely, like, if you look at the Japanese during World War II, Germans during World War II, like the common person, that they are probably just like what we're talking about. Like, they're just believing things, and from their point of view, like,
well, the Crusades, which I don't know anything about really, but
yeah, but the leaders, you know, that know better, the ones that created the disinformation, the ones that are doing the propaganda, those are the ones that are evil. So in our society now, it's like anyone who knows what's true and then is deliberately steering people away from the truth, knowing the truth. Like, if you know the truth and then you create an alternate view in order to manipulate people, that's evil. But if you're believing,
but you don't. But what,
but if you're
Hitler didn't really believe that Jews were the root of all evil.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But if you are the one believing the alternate truth and then doing evil as a result, thinking it's good, I don't know if that person is as evil, right? So it's like they're doing evil, no question they're doing evil, but it's like they may not understand that they're doing evil. And so it's like,
that's what I'm saying.
I reserve the judgment for the person who knows the difference. And did Hitler know, like, what did Hitler think? I don't know what Hitler
No, but what I'm saying is most evil that we look at is done by someone who thinks that they have to do it to save people. I think most evil is done by someone who's convinced they're being virtuous. Most of it.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, maybe. Okay. Well, that's what I need to figure out.
I think there's a lot of evil done by let's put Hitler aside.
Okay.
Let's talk about Putin. Putin is not doing what he's doing because he believes that this is what's best for people.
Right.
He's doing what he's doing because he wants power.
Yeah.
And he wants to be, like there are men and women too, less so, who just want power over people, and
so
they just want more resources.
I'm talking about a specific thing. Then I'm talking about like Satanic Panic, McMartin.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know what happened in the Crusades, but I think I'm talking about that. I'm talking about witch trials.
Right, and so in that case, that's interesting because that's more of a collective psychosis.
Yes,
and maybe there's not. There are times when people do evil, and there is no person who knows better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's possible. This is all very interesting. See, this is the kind of thing that you could explore. I don't have the answers. I just know that, like, where I am now, I'm much more interested in what's true, and I don't blame people for not knowing the truth. I blame the people who do know the difference. So it's like Graham Plattner knows that he knew what the Totenkopf tattoo was,
Right.
and he's lying about it. So I blame him for lying. But the people who believe his story, I believe they're gullible, naive,
Right.
but they're not evil for believing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, those instances, I don't know, like, that's kind of how I feel. So, like, Trump lies, so I blame him. But the people who believe Trump, you know, it's like, well, I feel like you should know better, but I don't know. I'm not as angry at them as I used to be. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Your anger got bored and it found other places to go.
There's so many people who piss me off because they know better and they're just lying. There's too many liars to be mad at people who believe the lies too.
Right. You don't have, like, they say that you have infinite room in your heart for love, but it turns out you have fixed room for hate.
Yeah. Exactly.
So a conversation happened in Hawaii that I didn't tell you about. It's not that interesting.
Oh,
Therefore,
yeah, tell me more.
I've got to get into it. So there was a server by the pool, and he's
like a data center.
Mm-hmm. The pool was cool, keeping it cool. No, like a waiter. And he said to me, there was one day where you took Elliot to the arcade.
Mm-hmm.
Owen stayed with Grandma,
Mm-hmm.
and
I know who you're talking about because there's only one male server.
Yes, it's that guy. And I was reading a book by the pool.
And this guy had a real pep.
They all had a pep. No, there was one. The lady who had the lip ring, she had no pep.
No, she was depressed.
Yeah. But the guy with the pep, he said, "You had little ones with you last time, didn't you?" And I said, "I did. They went to the arcade with Dad today." And he said, he got excited. He said, "Oh, which cave? This one or this one?" And I said, "No, not the cave, the arcade." And he looked so. It was like
what you were talking about. Oh, was he? What? Sorry. How did he look, honey?
Confused and disgusted. And in my mind, it was like, you came all this way.
Yes, you came all this way. You did not
to go to an arcade when there's caves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I, making it worse, said it's by the Target. It's because he seemed just utterly like, what? It like someone raised in the past coming out across an iPad, like arcade. And I was like, oh, it's in the shopping center by Target.
There are people who, and I understand, there are people. I had a conversation with a woman at Poipu Beach who we were watching.
Oh, the turtle situation, yeah.
And she, she was asking, oh, and I'm like, yeah, we've come here several times, and she's like, oh, have you gone? She was actually the second person. She was the second person to say this to me, where it's like, have you gone to the West Coast and looked at, whatever the fuck.
Rocks.
And because it's like, that's where all the beautiful, Kauai is like.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. And, you can go on these hikes and see there's a cave.
They
And
love
it's
their
like-
caves.
It's like,
There's also an arcade.
look, we go to Kauai to do nothing. I do not go to Kauai to take a boat ride around the island. I know it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I credit where it's due, Kauai. It is gorgeous. Sure, I would love to see it. I would much more love to not do a thing on any particular day.
I almost feel like I'm ready to try another island, and then I think I haven't even tried this island.
There's whole parts of the island we haven't.
We've
discovered.
barely explored this island. We have our little places that we go, but we've barely explored it.
We're just not hiking, people.
I could be though, because I did do a couple things
I don't think you could.
myself with just Elliot, and I was like, I would like to explore more. Not hike. Let's not get crazy
That's
here.
what I'm saying. Like,
But
go
I would
through
like to do-
nature and shit.
I would like to see more.
I mean, we could.
For the first time, I think the lack of novelty and the familiarity like bit me in the ass a little bit. Because everything felt so samey, which for the kids, they love that. We were in the exact same room. Did I say this on the
Probably.
Patreon episode or on the Monday episode? I don't know. We were in the exact same room as we were in last year, which is a fantastic room. I thought we would love it. But I just instantly was struck with the things that I was thinking about a year ago, which was like, my mom's dead. I'm fighting with my sister and I got to plan a funeral. It put me right back in that place. So I thought, I don't know. I just think the things that we did that were different this time are the ones that are sticking out in my mind more.
I remember a number of years ago wanting to do something different and then getting tons of pushback from everybody because everyone felt like...
I don't even remember what you're talking about.
I was like, I didn't want to go back to the same hotel because I felt like...
We've done
kind
it.
of the fun of a vacation is discovering new things or whatever. And it was made clear to me that everybody else appreciated that it was a known thing. Like, we know where the washing machines are. We know where the shave ice is. We know where the thing. And so that there was value in really thoroughly knowing the place so that when you get there, it's like a second home kind of thing.
Well,
and
yes.
So I was just like, okay, then that's what we're doing. And now you're ripping the rug out from underneath me.
Well, I feel
I don't know what to do anymore.
I'm picking up on a tone.
I'm just saying I was right.
Is that what that is?
I would like some acknowledgement.
Picking up on I don't even remember this conversation, but you said that everyone said to you. So who else besides me?
Well, my mom and the boys also
the boys
same
were
way.
part of this conversation?
I mean, look, they have their like little routines they do with grandma when they're there. I do feel actually like we made the right choice from the last few years, just because like for them, it's comfortable to go there.
Totally.
They do their little
They
routine.
love it.
They know what to look forward to. But maybe they're old enough now where it's like we can try a new place.
Maybe. I don't know.
It is. The problem is anywhere else is a real step down.
Yeah, it's so nice.
It's kind of like...
Unfortunately, I discovered... So again, I don't drink, but I started with virgin pina coladas. And then the server we liked the best was like, I could do a guava and passion fruit. And I was like, yes, I'll try that. That was delicious. I had one every day. I've gained 7 pounds.
I gained a lot of weight too. I drank a lot. Yeah. I never drink. Right?
That's what I told my therapist.
I never drink. But you're right. Like, I never drink alcohol. I mean, occasionally I'll have a drink, but like, I just don't drink. But there, I was like, there's just something about, I got nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a swimming pool. And there's a server. What am I not going to have a Mai Tai? What am I not going to
have 4 Mai Tais?
I mean, and it's the best.
Did you
feeling.
ever feel hungover?
No.
Interesting.
It was great. Every day, I catch a tiny little buzz. I'd be in the pool. The drinks are delicious.
How can you have that many drinks and only catch a tiny buzz? Because you were spacing them out, or maybe they're
I was
very
spacing
weak
them out.
drinks.
I also have a higher tolerance than you do. Like it doesn't hit me as hard.
Right.
If I drank like 2 Mai Tais in a shorter amount of time,
right, on an empty stomach or something,
I would get a buzz, I guess. But like, I don't know.
Well, I tried something new,
but now I'm back to not. But I think I gained some weight from all that drinking of alcohol. Okay.
Since I've been on a GLP-1, my weight does not fluctuate like this.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a real rude awakening to come step on the scale when I got home. And your mom was like, "Why did you weigh yourself right when you got home?" I'm like, I don't know. Because the scale is no longer the enemy like it used to be. But on this day it was. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just, my endocrinologist is like, there's a real move toward micro dosing GLP-1s. Like the idea that people can take very tiny doses and space them out a lot. Like he said that some of his patients will take a shot, do the shot once a month. And I believe that would not work for me. Now, granted, I should really try it on a time when I'm not drinking a ridiculous smoothie, which is essentially a milkshake every single day.
Right.
But I don't think I can space it out that much.
But you're very treat motivated.
I am. Okay. So on TikTok, I saw people talking about a yanked gusset. And it took me a little while to know what they were talking about. They were talking about when you have a wet swimsuit, instead of pulling the whole thing off in the bathroom and then struggling for a girl to get it back on, you just take the crotch and you pull it to the side. The crotch is called the gusset, and you pull it to the side and you pee. And how it's like life-changing. And I was like, I've never even thought to do that. I just struggle with my wet bathing suit, and then I struggle to get it off, and then struggle to get it on.
Wow.
And I always have to pee. So I'm like, I'm going to try this yanked gusset thing.
How'd it work out for you?
So the whole first day I tried to do it, I couldn't do it. I could not
yank your gusset.
I could yank it, but I couldn't let my body pee with clothes on because it feels like you're still wearing clothes. Like it was just like the signals were confusing my body.
Right.
And I couldn't override it. And I also was afraid that I wasn't pulling it too far. And what if I like pee all over my hand and my swimsuit? I don't know. It was just very scary to me. Yeah. So I would try it, and then I would be like, no, today's not the day. But then the next day I did finally try it. It felt so weird. And I yanked that thing. Like if it's possible to give yourself like it was akin to a wedgie, even though there was nothing going up my crack or anything. But I was pulling it to the side so much in case I had like a broken sprinkler kind of urination. Because I was so afraid of peeing on my swimsuit and my hand. But it was fine. It really took a lot of concentration to let myself pee with the full seat of my swimsuit. Excuse me, still touching my butt. But I did it. I don't know that it was life-changing, but I did feel like, oh, I can do anything.
Well, I'm just so happy for you.
Thank you very much. And then also, Elliot and I took a ukulele lesson.
You did.
And I made a mistake at our ukulele lesson.
What?
So we show up, and the teacher, who's a local musician, kind of an awkward local musician, says, okay, do you guys want a story or do you want to play? And
do you want to play? Do you want a play?
Right. Do you want a story or do you want to just play? And it's like that sort of awkward, like people are getting into their seats kind of. Oh, and the only seats available were in the front row. So Elliot and I are sitting in the front row. And I, because I'm a people pleaser, say story.
Like a real dingus.
And then he's like, okay, what else do what do others think? Everyone gets a vote. And I heard someone behind me say, I want to play. And I was like, uh-oh. And then Elliot's like, I guess story. And then the other woman in the front was like, oh, well, I'm sitting in the front, so I'll say story. And then I said solidarity. Anyway, he told the story. I thought it was going to be an entertaining story about the ukulele. Maybe an entertaining story about the history of the ukulele. It was instead a deadly, boring, incredibly long story about the history of all of the islands, but I couldn't follow it. Like, he was good at playing music, but not great at telling the story of the history of Hawaii. And also, he punctuated it a lot with like making eye contact and like looking at me and people in the front row for acknowledgement. So I felt like I had to go, like I couldn't tune out because I was right in the front row, and I'm the one who had made this happen for all of us. I wanted to turn around and say like, I'm sorry. I felt so guilty.
It
was so long. and so confusing. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. I just feel like I made a real error. Are you getting a text that involves our children?
Mm-hmm.
What's it about? And why didn't I didn't get it.
Elliot texted me. I know you probably know this, but we have to leave soon, like really soon. It's already 5:32. This kid's obsessed with like
time,
being on time to things, and if you say to him if there's something he wants to do, you can't get away with being like, okay, I promise we'll do it. He'll be like, when, right?
Yeah.
Like okay, oh, we're gonna do it. What time? What day? And then if you get him to back off, like you're like, okay, just accept, Elliot, for now that it's going to happen. The next morning, he's back to, okay, did you email them?
I've never.
Call? He'll tell you what you should say.
I have never gotten him to back off. So I've talked about my friend Izzy before, who I've been trying to see for a while, and the plan always falls through. But we finally saw her and her family yesterday, and it was so nice to catch up. But we were at this indoor trampoline park. And so the parents were all sitting at a table and the kids were playing. And then he came up and he's like, can you try to plan another play date with them? And I said, yeah. And he's like, but I mean, they're here right now. So like, you don't have to text them. Like, can you do it now? And I said, I will, honey. And he said, when? And I said, I promise I will. And he did accept that, but it was like
for a minute, and then he comes back to it.
Yeah.
Minutes later. It's like having a very strict boss, who's like, okay, you can do the project.
Oh, it's a boss who doesn't trust you.
Right. Micromanages. It sucks.
Yeah. You know what is great though? Quince.
They are great.
I love Quince. The kids are growing so fast. I need to order more stuff for them. And the Quince, by the way, what I said made it seem like they only have kids stuff. I get a lot of stuff for my kids there, but also they have women's clothes. They have men's clothes. They have accessories. They have jewelry. They have stuff for the home. I am addicted to Quince. My favorite sweaters are from Quince. And they have 365-day returns. And they have the softest pants and shorts for kids. I think I'm going to outfit them exclusively in Quince.
Do it.
I should see if that could be a campaign. Exclusively in Quince for the school year. But why talk about fall? We're talking about summer. Quince makes elevated essentials using premium materials like European linen, organic cotton, washable silk without the traditional retail markup. They have beautiful 14 karat gold jewelry. They also, around the holidays, or maybe, I don't know if it's all the time or just around the holidays, they sell caviar as well.
It's crazy what they sell.
It's
the softest caviar.
It's complete washable linen caviar. So everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They work directly with ethical factories and they cut out the middleman. So you're paying for exceptional quality, not brand markup. Make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/Alison Rosen for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's quince.com, QUINCE.com/Alison Rosen for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Alison Rosen. I also need to talk about Mint Mobile. There are things in life that you don't want to be transparent, like your swimsuit or your search history. Daniel, your search history is just perfume stuff, isn't it?
These days, pretty much.
When it comes to your wireless bill, transparency is everything. That's why Mint Mobile's wireless plans have no gimmicks and no gotchas. Zero gimmicks, zero gotchas.
Oh, thank God.
Just high-speed data and reliable coverage on the T-Mobile 5G network. And right now, all plans are $15 a month, even unlimited. So Mint Mobile, they took what's wrong with wireless. And there's so many things that we know are wrong with wireless. This is the billing primarily. And they made it right with premium wireless for $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your current phone number and your current phone. That's huge because
That's-
to
yeah.
me, an impediment often is thinking, well, I don't want to have to start from scratch.
Huge.
Choose from 3, 6, or 12-month plans. Say goodbye to a monthly bill. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile. It's so easy. Sign up online and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/AlisonRosen. That's Mint Mobile, MINTMOBILE.com/AlisonRosen. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/AlisonRosen. That's it. There's no catch. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months. Plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Includes up to 20 gigabyte hotspot. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. Okay. Also, on this trip, hang on, I got to return to my must discuss things. Owen has a new passion in life, and that passion is helping babies who are crying.
Oh my God.
So he asked me, he's always been like fascinated by babies,
yes, he
younger
does.
kids, but specifically babies. But like, I feel like if he could, let's say he were to take a dance class, but it was a dance class for 4-year-olds, he would be in heaven. Like and I think it's because he's,
Or dance class for babies. That would be true heaven.
if he could be like an assistant in a class or something, which would really be a lot of work for the teacher because I don't think he would actually help. But for him, if he could be maybe it's because he's a younger sibling. If he could be in the older sibling role, he would. So his whole thing was like, Mommy, if I see a baby crying, can I go up to them and can I help them? And I said, what are you going to do? And he gets real cagey. But then he finally told me he would do peekaboo with them. And then he would do a couple other things that he hasn't figured out yet. And then if it doesn't work, he'll say, sorry, I couldn't help your baby. And he'll leave.
By the way, he calls the parents of babies the baby's owners.
Oh my God, I forgot about that part. So
yeah.
he also has he has been wanting to say, can I pet your baby? And he doesn't mean it like a joke. And then you said that you told him not to be staring at the baby. And he said, I don't think their owner will mind.
Right.
So a little bit of confusion here, but there was a baby crying and he did. And I feel real weird about, like, I don't know. I don't want
he will force us to go. He just will not stop.
And I
until
don't want to be like intruding on people.
It's hard to explain to a child why
You can't.
I'm uncomfortable going up to the family of the baby and asking them.
If our son can,
But the
bother,
truth
can our
is,
son
like,
bother your
'cause
baby?
There was a baby in the pool, and so he just wore me down, and I brought him over, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, because they were like all talking to a bunch of people, and they're all talking, and there's a baby in a little floating thing, and I'm like, I'm so sorry to interrupt. My son would like to
Meet your baby.
meet your baby. He would like to meet your baby. And like once I said it, I realized, oh, if you're on the other side of this,
Yes.
that's super funny and cute. Like it's not, to me, it just feels super awkward.
Right.
But they all laughed and thought it was cute. Now, of course, he wants to like touch their baby.
Right.
And often they don't want that. But
Well, that family the next day, there was a woman smiling at him in the pool, and he said, "Why are you looking at me?" And she said, "'Cause you're cute." And then she said, "You're the one who helps babies, aren't you?"
Yeah.
And so she
Now
was
it's
like
his thing.
totally taken with him.
Right.
So we're walking to the lobby, and there's a crying baby, and he goes up, "Can I help your baby?" And then he starts doing peekaboo with the baby, and it actually worked, which was shocking.
Babies is like, what's going on?
But I think I
it's
don't
like
know.
that meme where they throw ham at a baby's forehead, or it's like sliced
I don't know about
cheese.
that.
It's like, so a baby's crying, and if you throw sliced ham, I think it's ham, or maybe it's like American cheese, and it sticks to their head.
Oh my God!
To
But distract. Yeah,
it totally works because
Yeah.
they're like, wait, what? Yeah.
Don't give him that. Don't let him add that to his arsenal. So yeah, they were like very taken with him.
Mhm.
Although I had the weirdest conversation with the dad, and in the following days I've thought about it
Mhm.
because they were asking, what are your kids' names? And then I said Elliot, and he said, "Oh, my brother-in-law is Elliot," and he like pointed over his shoulder. And I said 1T or 2T, and he said, "Oh, he's a grown-up. He's like 30, big T."
What did he think you meant?
I think he thought I was asking about clothing sizes, which makes no sense. Like I think that he might be after the fact being like, "Oh my God, that's what she meant." Like,
Yeah, that's confusing. So he thinks you meant like
it was so weird. Like
1X
I was
or
just,
2X or something.
oh, right. No, in kids' clothes, it's like 2T, 3T.
Oh, right. Oh, right. That's what he thought you meant.
And so he was like joking, like big T, like, and it's like, no, I'm asking how he spells the name Elliot.
Right.
So I had the realization that must be what he thought I was saying, but I wonder if he's like, oh, duh, she meant, how does he spell it? Right. Anyway, so that was a good exchange. And then we're now the Lahui airport is a small, like local airport. Mm-hmm. We're in the airport and there's a crying baby. Mm-hmm. And Owen's like, "Can I go to the baby, please?" And I'm like, "Honey, I don't know. It's different than at the hotel. Like we're at an airport." Mm-hmm. But he wore me down. So we went up and I'm like, "I'm so sorry to interrupt. My son would like to know if he can help your baby." And the dad was like, "Oh, she wants her mom." Mm-hmm. And so the mom is holding the baby. And, they were like, "Oh, that's sweet," Mm-hmm. And so he does peekaboo and the baby starts clapping. Now, I think the baby was happy because it was in its mom's arms. But Owen goes, "Oh, my God, it worked again." He goes, "I can't believe it worked again." Yeah. So he truly thinks he's like what my grandfather thought he was to schizophrenics. This is what Owen thinks he is to babies.
He's the baby whisperer.
Yeah, but the dad was like, "That's actually really very sweet." They're like, "Thank you," and they like, "Thank you so much."
Well, I know because like our neighbors have a baby, and he was like relentlessly the last couple of days, like
demanding that we meet the
when
baby.
When are we going over to meet the baby?
Yeah,
and you were like, "This is so," and I was just like, but if you think about it from their point of view, it's not
right
because like. Only a weird person would be offended by that. Like normal people see a little kid like Owen wanting to meet their baby as something cute.
Right. Well, so we knocked on their door to introduce ourselves. They've been living there for 2 years. And say, "Could we meet your baby?"
But the awkwardness there is not ours because I have made a couple attempts to be friendly and talk to them, and they're just very shy folks.
In this day and age, it's weird to go to just knock on someone's door.
Well, that part of it is, but like I don't know. Go ahead.
So anyway, I couldn't shake. The baby was napping, but we exchanged numbers to find a time. So I could not shake feeling super weird about it because it's like, hi, we're like this guy is obsessed with baby. I don't know. I just felt like, is that weird? Is it weird? Is it weird? And then I thought, no, because a true creep isn't concerned that they're coming off as creepy.
Right.
But they're like, she's going to be awake from like 2 to 5 and we went over and it was sweet and we met them and I haven't had a chance to tell you this yet. But so Owen is like talking and he goes, "Do they know that I'm on the spectrum?" And I said, I don't think so. And he goes, "Well, I'm on
they could do the math."
And he goes, "Well, I'm on the spectrum." And the mom said, "Well, what does that mean?" And she said, "Well," he's like, "it can mean multiple things, but I'm autistic and I'm just more sensitive than other people. I'm level 2. He's like, level 3 is even more sensitive. And I'm thinking like, I think level 3 is like level 3 includes nonverbal, but
yeah, I don't actually know all of the.
Yeah. But he's like, "Yeah, it just means I'm more sensitive." And then later they were talking about ASMR and he was saying that, that it's supposed to be like relaxing, but there's one that's supposed to make you sleepy, and he watched the whole thing and it didn't make him sleepy. He's like, I don't know. Sometimes things that work on other people don't work on me. I don't know if it's because I'm autistic.
It's funny how he processes all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he does think about it.
I do think he's probably it's probably pretty entertaining to have him in your living room talking to them and like meeting their baby, and as opposed to like, you know, kids where you have to like draw them out and try to think about like, well, now what do we talk about?
Owen is not shy.
He was like, does your baby talk? Does she know her colors? What's her favorite color? And then he was talking about insects and animals. And I mean, he's like got a whole spiel.
It's funny. Yeah, he's got no fear of strangers. I mean, we should probably instill some fear of strangers, to be honest. But like,
there was like a cup of crayons and the mom's like, yeah, she's interested in sorting things right now. And I was like, aha.
Right.
I didn't say it. I didn't say anything.
No.
I said, Owen likes sorting too. And I was like, ugh. I didn't pick up on anything, you know, from her, but I was just thinking like, you know what though? I take it back. Cause sorting is an activity that's like age appropriate for a toddler, I think.
Right. I think obsessive sorting is where it starts to get.
Lining things up probably. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't want, like, you don't want it to become a crutch or it to be like, well, I can't do that as an excuse. I can't do that because I'm autistic or an excuse. But I do think him folding it into his identity is not bad necessarily. I think he's making sense of it.
Yeah, we grappled with it, but I just think really normalizing it for him.
Yeah, he seems like he has no shame around it.
No, that was gratifying. I was worried, but it helped. I mean, I think because the thing that tipped it for me was just him being very sad and confused about why he's different.
Oh my God, he was bawling on the couch. Why am I different than other kids?
Right, and so like to me, it was just like, oh yeah, like the idea that he wouldn't know he's different is silly. Of course he knows. Of course he sees the difference.
Right.
But if he doesn't, if we just were to like
gaslight
if we didn't tell him, then he's going to be thinking, wait, there's something's wrong with me. But if you say there's nothing wrong with you, you have this condition.
Yeah.
It's like weirdly more empowering.
It's more comforting. But then a funny twist of events, Elliot in the back seat going, why am I the only one who doesn't have anything?
I was like, just give it time, kiddo. I think you might.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Right. OCD, right?
I think he's got it. Yeah.
Burgeoning. Yeah. No, that was funny. All right. Well, this has been a delightful episode. Oh my God. Once again, I forgot to read Spotify comments.
Well, we'll save it.
Okay. I'll read. I'm curious to read them.
I know, but we gotta.
Yeah, you're right. We've got Elliot breathing down our neck. Yeah. All right. We'll get to that. Well, also, I am going to be reading Apple Podcast comments. So please leave some of those, some reviews, click 5 stars. Thank you all for listening. Again, I Substacked on this vacation. So I'm on Patreon. And Substack. Daniel, thank you. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen show?